What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas. I'm your host of The Awakening World. And welcome to our first Awakening World since we had this amazing retreat in Sedona, Arizona. And so tonight, we're going to hear from a lot of the people who were there. We're going to see some videos, we're going to see some photos, we're going to celebrate. We're also going to meet a wonderful new friend of The Awakening World. This is Sophia Amargi. And she is going to be talking about something very, very important, which is how to really be trauma informed and how to manage our trauma so that we can enjoy life to the fullest. So looking forward to meeting you. And I got to say, really, one of the great things of the retreat was being able to hear Omar Shar play music live. Now, we all know how wonderful his music is, and his lyrics, his songs are perfect for Global Peace Tribe. But boy, it sure was wonderful hearing it live. So with no further ado, to get us off to a wonderful start, I'm going to turn it over to our beautiful, beloved brother, Omar Shar.
Yes, what an honor to be playing live, and how lovely to touch all of us. I think I hugged probably everybody at least 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 20,000 times. How glorious is that? And so we're going to start with a song called "The One I Am," and it's basically the one we are, right? And so I'm going to switch over to this one. The one I am has always been here, whispering songs of life and love. Come with knowing our day draws nearer. Come with joy and endless love. Sacred dancing breathes our heart song, and silent yearning keeps alive. A union blessed before beginning, preordained beyond all time. Let Julia in. Each step I take is one step closer to you. A joyous stride into the new. Each breath I breathe takes me inside your heart. Now I remember how to feel, and I remember how to fly.
You know, the workshop they had in Sedona.
And one night
I'm not sure that's where it is. When did it start?
I am that I am, open to our sacred merger, shedding tears of divine bliss. Every movement tells a story, and nothing could compare with this. So, here in fullest understanding, and breathing light through every word, our lives become so undemanding, and finally see finally heard. Each step I take is one step closer to you. A joyous stride into the new. Each breath I breathe takes me inside your heart. Now I remember how to feel, and I remember how to fly. The one I am, fly. I am that I am, the one I am. I am that I am, the one I am. I am that I am.
Hey, everybody, let's twinkle our beloved Omashar. Turn on your cameras and twinkle our brother there. Thank
I've
you.
never been twinkled so much in my life, man, so.
A whole lot of twinkling going on.
I know. It's a song.
Exactly. It's what Led Zeppelin originally wrote, "Whole Lot of Twinkling," but they didn't.
They did exactly
that. Hey, we can support Omashar by going to his Bandcamp and buying his albums, and he's going to be adding new ones. So make sure you follow this man. I've got to log in and do that whole thing. There we go. So log in, follow him, buy his albums, support him. Omashar, since so much tonight, we are going to be talking about the retreat. What stood out for you? What were some of your high points?
My high point really was the connection, the feeling I got from being amongst us all, because this Zoom format is absolutely brilliant. And when we touched and when we connected, I just felt so, it was like a full cycle. And some of the presenters, what they brought with is just feeling of connection. And I just felt my own feelings becoming enlivened and awakened. And I thought, wow, I can still feel, because it may seem a little interesting to say that, but I didn't realize how, and this might even segue into what Sophia is sharing, how much parts of me had actually closed down. not necessarily through the pandemic isolation, but generally over life, through all the hurts and pains that I've had. And I just felt when, like, for instance, Katrina came in and she was talking about whatever she was talking about, for me, I just felt my heart open. And the more my heart opened, the more I felt my periphery. I could feel my feelings again. And I thought, yes, there's hope. And I hadn't lost hope. I realized that there was more hope to have. And I'm really happy, because it's like, wow, this is just going to continue. And the more we feel, the more we can communicate clearly. And so that's my thing for this moment, Scott.
Beautiful. Thank you. You know, I got so excited about getting to your music that I forgot to do what I normally do, which is to invite everybody who's watching on Facebook to join us. So hello, everybody. You know, we're on over, or as many as 100 Facebook groups and pages because of the Sign Network. And starting tomorrow night, we're going to be on another new network. The Conscious Awakening Network is going to start carrying us tomorrow night. So we're continuing to grow and expand our reach, which is really fun. But if you are watching on Facebook, here's the deal. You want to join us live, and you want to register. You want to be part of this amazing, beautiful Global Peace Tribe. And it's really easy to do that. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, and register. And when you register, you're going to get the links to all of our shows for the rest of this year. And we do 3 or 4 shows every week. It's rather remarkable, actually, with incredible guests. And we really balance it out with some of your favorite, you know, more famous people like Marianne Williamson. We'd have Marianne on a little bit tonight, not live, but a video that I did with her this morning. But we also like to introduce the next generation of amazing people, very much like Sophia, who you're going to meet in a few minutes. And every weekend we do a show, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday. So, for example, tomorrow night, we're going to be collaborating with the Illuminate Film Festival, meeting the people who run it and some of the directors of the remarkable, groundbreaking films that are going to be premiering there this weekend. And then on Sunday, getting us ready for All Hallows Eve, the amazing Guinevere Bridge, who's coming to us as Goddess Hecate, who I did not know much about. Very interesting. And then the remarkable Oscar Miro Casada, all about being an urban shaman. So register, join us. You'll get the links to all of our shows, and you'll also get the replays. We send out on Monday all the recordings. So become part of our family. And you're going to meet some of our family tonight. It's going to be a very Global Peace Tribe show. And a huge part of the Global Peace Tribe, and the person who helped put together this weekend of love, is the great Tangela. Hey, welcome, Tangela.
Hi, Scott. Hello, everyone. It's so great to be here with all of these beautiful faces. So many of us were able to be together in person this weekend, which was amazing, and I loved it. So, you know, welcome again to everyone who made it to Sedona, and then, of course, welcome to everyone tuning in, and you all were with us in spirit, of course.
So, same question I'm going to be asking most people. What are some of the things that stood out for you, Tangela?
Sure. So, I mean, I loved the opening ceremony, you know, just everyone coming together, hearing Omashar play live for the first time ever. I thought that was just so magical and beautiful, especially because we all also started dancing in the grass, and that was just really, really fun. And then Pamela Butters playing the bowls, and just really seeing everyone in person, just all together, being able to see everyone's faces, feel the energy of, you know, connecting heart to heart. That was really powerful and beautiful for me. So I love that. And of course, I love the Super Conscious Music Festival, which is one of the many events happening the weekend. We had such a full weekend, including the Psychic Fair. And then, of course, you have Larissa Stowe's house blessing. But just being able to see everyone, again, all the Global Peace Tribe coming together to participate in the celebration of conscious and spiritual music of all different genres, and Omashar being able to kick that off for us, and really, like, you know, getting the crowd started, and then just everyone being able to share together with everything from Andrew and his country spirit rock to Demir getting us all dancing with the drums, and Miguel with the sitar player, so we just had such a beautiful diversity of music. And the whole time, we had so many of our Global Peace Tribe friends telling me, wow, like, it's amazing to see artists like this at all. These people should be famous. They should be out there. People need to hear this kind of music. And that's really why I had created the festival, because this is the first step in us just really bringing this heart-centered music out into the world. So I was just so grateful to have all of you guys there with us together in this beautiful celebration. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And thank you for all that you did to make it happen, Tangela. And, for those of you who weren't there, because I don't want this to be a big FOMO party, right? Here's the good news. It was such a success this weekend. Like, you never know. As the guy who primarily put it together with Tangela and others, but, it was kind of my ass on the line. It's like such a success, and so many people had transformational experiences, and we'll hear from some of them. So I just want people to know the good news. We're going to do several more of these. Now that we know that people will come and that people really enjoy it and people have a great time, I'm looking at maybe doing one sooner than later, maybe down in San Diego, since it'll be winter time. So we'll want to be in a nice warm environment. And certainly in the spring, we'll do one on the East Coast in Asheville, North Carolina, my friend's retreat space, and maybe even in Hawaii. So it was a very, very good start for Global Peace Tribe events. But there are many ways we can still connect with each other. And Tangela is amazing. She and I both are crazy people, constantly doing these events. And she's got something very special starting tomorrow, and it's going to be all weekend. So I want to talk about that. But let's start by taking a look at a short video.
What are your gifts? What do you desire for yourself? What do you envision for the entire planet? Immerse yourself into the Ascension of the Soul online 2-day conference. Explore your soul's purpose and experience deep connection to all that you are. A collaboration of luminaries here to support you in understanding and remembering your true potential. Brought to you by Soul Search and Portal to Ascension. Now is the time to awaken to our soul's gifts and abilities. Join us.
"25 amazing people." And I'm going to just bring up the poster briefly so you can see all the people that are part of this. Almost every one of these people has been on the Awakening World, some of them multiple times. They're all such world-class human beings, as well as remarkably talented people, all talking about what ascension really means. And this starts tomorrow morning, and it's all day tomorrow and all day Sunday. And Tangela, what do you want us to know about it?
Sure. So thanks, Scott. So this is something that we put together, this 2-day online summit for the Ascension of the Soul, to bring together these 25 diverse practitioners, all to speak about different perspectives of ascension. As we know, we're going through this incredible awakening period right now, and it affects us as individuals and humanity in so many different ways. And so this is a 2-day deep dive, getting incredible downloads from all of our amazing soul search healers, including Scott Katamas here, who will be speaking about managing our animal bodies during ascension, which is fantastic. But we'll be hearing from Raquel and the evolution of humanity during ascension, Melissa Fike talking about quantum manifestation, the Akashic records during the ascension, Deva Vidya talking about the dark night of the soul and coming into the light during ascension. So many incredible speakers. Deborah Giusti, who was on recently, also speaking about the blueprint of ascension. So, Suzanne Ross and transfiguration ascension. So many great topics, so many great perspectives. We'll be getting 25 downloads from all of these ascension experts. And it's really going to be a highly activating weekend. So we invite all of you guys to join us. It's completely free. So you can register online and you'll get free replay access for eternity. So even if you can't join us for the full 2 days straight. You can join us when you can, and just know that you can continue to check in and just watch the rest of it at your leisure. Or if there are certain activations or meditations that you found very powerful, you can tune into those as well. So we're just really excited to be hosting this event. We have hundreds of people registered to be attending, and we want you all to register too. It's going to be live on Zoom. We invite all of your Q&A during the talks as well and afterwards, and it's going to be great. So, we're really excited to be exploring ascension with all of you together.
Beautiful. I was muted. So tomorrow we're putting the link in to where you can register, and a remarkable group of people. Again, I'm going to go one more time to the poster, and I'm just going to read the names of some of the people. So, of course, Deborah Giusti, who probably knows as much as anybody about ascension because that's her main field of study. Joan of Angels, Raquel Spring, the amazing astrologer, who has become like all of our favorite astrologer. Carolyn Hauser, you saw her on The Awakening World last week. Melissa Fike, Alana Leone, the beautiful Tangela. I love that picture of you, Tangela. You look like an exotic gypsy dancer in that one. It's a great photo. Brandon Strabala, who's a really cool guy. Luana, who is our beautiful cosmic concierge. Lisa McCardle, Krista Collins, Lori Wheeler, Nicole. They're all going to be there. So over the next 2 days, definitely join us for the ascension of the soul. Thank you for putting that together, Tangela.
My pleasure. I'm so excited for all of you to be joining us for this event. We love, we had this incredible in-person event last weekend, but there were so many people that could not come who are part of our Soul Search family and our Global Peace Tribe family. So we're excited about putting this together for everyone as well.
Beautiful. And it's free.
And
it's free.
Totally free.
It's free. It's amazing. Tangela, I hope you can stick around and we'll come back to you in a little bit.
Sure. Thanks.
And just want to give warning to all of our beloveds who were at the retreat. If I see your cameras on, I may call upon you. So be prepared, because I'm going to call on a few of you. And then we're going to hear from Sophia. And then we're going to do a little bit more Global Peace Tribe retreat. But let's start. You know what one of my highlights was? Mark Danisovsky, who's been a regular on coming to our shows from the beginning, really. We got to hear him play accordion, and it was wonderful hearing him play accordion. And our closing night party, we took over the entire patio of an Italian restaurant, and he played accordion. We celebrated Mandolin Reese's birthday, and also just a final night together. So I'm going to bring Mark on briefly. Hey, Mark.
Hello.
Your accordion and your playing and your energy was truly one of the highlights. I'm going to bring Omashar on too, because you and Omashar did a little duet. You guys played together.
We certainly did.
It was
And
fun.
he taught me a thing or two.
I got to be Omashar's sound man too, which was a lot of fun.
It was a great trip. It's always something that I have missed in the last 2-3 years is collaborating with other musicians, and he is so sensitive. It was a brand new song for Mark, and we'd rehearsed it for about maybe 1 minute, and then it was showtime, and we just got on and jammed. It was beautiful. Thank you, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I'm going to say about the retreat is, as a musician, I spend incredible amounts of time alone, and I was really concerned about having a lot of people around. And the beauty, I think the tangible thing that I became aware of is that, if you find your family from around the world, it was so easy to be around that many people, because we're all on the same path and we're all resonating at the same frequency. And so that was really, really kind of a wondrous experience for me, to really find your soul group, so that was one of the great highlights for me.
And thank you, because you brought the sound system that allowed us to, really all hear each other. And of course, most of all, to really enjoy Omashar's music. So thank you so much for bringing the sound system. That was really a blessing.
It was an honor to give something back to you, Scott, after these 2.5, almost 3 years now of, it's crazy. Time just flew.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
So
Thank you, Mark. All right, I'm going to go to some of our other friends that I see with us. Mark was just talking about how it ended up being so easy with us all getting along with each other. And that's no small thing when you've got like 50 different people coming in and out of, what we did was we rented a large house, kind of an Airbnb type of thing, but it was large with an incredible view of the Sedona Rocks. Well, you got 50 people flowing in and out of the house. You never quite know how it's going to go. And we had a lot of people living in the house. We had about 15 people living in the house, including Bonnie and Roger and their very large dog. And we had Kiki in the house. And we had Scotty Satori in the house. And we had Karen Eisenberg in the house. And let's see, who else do I see here that was in the house? We had Atira was in the house. And what was amazing was all these people living in the same house, and you all got along so beautifully. And like I'd come in and you guys were making breakfast together, or you had food out for each other. And the dishes all got done, and nobody came to me and said, well, this person, not once. Not once. Everybody got along. And none of you knew each other other than maybe seeing each other occasionally on Zoom. So I just really want to acknowledge the beauty of that. Talk about creating peace. You did it. You created peace for those 5 days together. So I'd love to hear from each of you a little bit of your memory, anything about the house, about the retreat. Maybe we'll start with Karen. And then Scotty.
My gosh, it's such an honor. As Scott said, we just blended. I want to use the word bonded. We immediately, simultaneously bonded, and everything was done with such harmony. And I have to first chime in with Bonnie and Roger and their beautiful dog, Cindy. Every single morning, Bonnie was in the kitchen preparing breakfast for all 14 of us. And I would chime in and okay, Bonnie, what can I do to help? Or I would also make sure, I was helping to clean up and do the dishes. And Roger was just making sure that everything else, was going smoothly. And I'm not just pointing them out. Every single one of us was playing our part, even though we never sat down and said what that part was. To me, that's real bonding. And I bonded with each and every one of those 15 people, including myself, in the house. And those that came each day that weren't staying with us in the hacienda house. It didn't matter if they stayed there or not. But the big thing was those of us that did stay together really, really just were in sync amazingly. Yeah. And the house was situated in a beautiful area of Sedona. Right behind us were 3 huge rocks that Scott called temples. And they really were temples. And then at night, you know how it is when you're out in the dark and you can see nothing but the stars and the planets. Well, Jupiter was the closest planet to us, just shining down. And so we had all of that. And you always hear about the magic of Sedona. It was my first time to go, and that is no joke. It is such a powerful vortex place. And so we had that with us as well. And each and every luminary that I have met on the Zoom show in the last 3 years came to life for me that was there. And you know how we all feel being together, you know, these 2.5, 3 years, how we've all bonded just up here, you know, but when we came together in person, it was magnified. It was like Tangela said, you know, my gosh, it was just amazing, you know, to see Omashar and hear him. It was so magnified. And Scotty and Kiki and Connie and everybody. I mean, I, you know, the list just goes on. And all of you that didn't make it, you were totally in our hearts. And just know that, because you really realize more and more what an amazing, I know the word family has been coming up. I want to say also soul tribe. We are the Global Peace Soul Tribe. And it just feels so good to be together with our soul tribe. I'm changed. I am forever changed. I came home feeling different, and I've been acclimating over the last 2 days because I feel like I had a transformation, and it is good. And thank you. I didn't mean to overtalk, but I am so moved. And thank you.
You didn't overtalk at all. It was wonderful to hear from you. Absolutely wonderful. So let's go to Scotty Satori, and then we'll go to Atira.
Oh, Karen, you said it all. That was so gorgeous. Yeah, it was the whole ride or drive back. It was just like, just sit back, drive, and just smile. And I'm still unpacking the whole event. It was, and just the teamwork. You know, we had a few situations come up. It was just how they're handled. You know, Scott, I just honor you, and everybody stood up as a team. And you know, I kind of just scouted the grounds and kept all that going. And what was so cool is I never found one piece of trash on the ground. It was just, everybody was such a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody just called the duty. Chairs in, chairs up. And Scott, just watching Scott move and groove back in the control room, coming out, talking, meditating, going back, answering you are the master mover groover, Scott. I love it. It's all the lessons and wisdom taken in. And yeah, this was very incredible. And I was very divinely guided to get there, because Scott knows how I was a few days before then, and things just happened.
Yeah, I'm glad you made it,
When you
Scotty.
say yes, right?
Glad you made it. Glad you made it.
Scott, you're awesome.
Hey, let's hear from Atira. Atira came, she brought her camper, and she was a big part of the retreat. And Atira, what stood out for you? What would you like to share?
Well, it's interesting, you know, we did come together as a community. We did work together. And yes, there were irritations, and we worked through them so that we kept everything flowing. You get 50 people together, and some of us are going to not quite jive with the energy. And it's like, okay, we can work with this. Let's just keep going. And I found that very important to me, because we were doing a face-to-face and person-to-person, energy-to-energy situation. One of the big things for me was in-person, hands-on healing. I must have done at least 3 or 4 healing sessions with different people, and their power, the energy that they pulled in from Sedona, and their own energy really had an effect on my body. And Jerry, oh my God, wild habit, Jerry, you are awesome. And what happened with the hike going up? Yes, we went up. We went to this marvelous cave. I was the oldest at 78, got up there, and you know what? The next day, nothing ached. A slight backache, and that was it. The hips, bone-on-bone hips worked. The knees worked. Everything worked. And so thank you, healers, bringing together Bart, Adam, whoever else I might, oh, the young lady that was there for a short while. Wow. And I
Thank you, lady.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. So those were the highlights. And then I actually stayed a day or two longer and had this incredible UFO event experience that just, my ending note is that by the time I left Thursday, my head was so full of energy that it felt like I had this, it wasn't a headache, but it was this huge, and it didn't dissipate until I passed about 50 miles south of Sedona, and then it started to dissipate. So what an energy place. If San Diego can match that, I'm for it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I will go to you in a little bit, Jerry. I still want to hear from a couple more of the house people. And then we're going to talk to Jerry and learn all about the caves and what happened in the caves. But let's hear from Kiki for a minute. Kiki was there. Hi, Kiki.
Hey. Oh, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay.
What would you like to share?
Well, I would like to share that, I see you all on Zoom, but when I got there, I felt like I had already known everyone. I feel like it was a soul connection, definitely. So that's where I say a soul tribe. It was amazing. And you'd asked me, like at my birthday thing, was there one other thing, was finding love. Well, a partner love, that's whenever the universe brings that in. But I found love of a family in this whole group. It was just so touching how we all connected. And it was very moving, very moving.
I'm glad you're saying that, Kiki. And I just want to say that whether you were at the retreat or not, this is a family. This is a tribe. That's what we're called. We are the Global Peace Tribe. And we are going to continue to grow together. We're going to continue to evolve together. We're going to continue to support each other. We're going to support, whether it's supporting Tangila's latest offering, because she does like one a week, or whether it's Scott's crazy things or the patches, that we're going to all be using probably. We're supporting each other. We are a tribe. And, thank you for pointing to that, Kiki. Thank you. I want to go to Bonnie and Roger. I think they're the other people that were in the house. I'll see if there's anybody I've missed, but hey, Bonnie and Roger.
I know.
Hi.
And it's kind of strange to see you without Cindy. Cindy was always within a few feet. So,
Yep.
Anything you want to share about your time with us?
I can't say enough about that everybody else has shared. It was such an honor. The community, the people there, it's just so moving. A tribe, community, soul connection with everybody. It touched us deeply.
I feel that I felt from the beginning that I was being reunited with family that I haven't seen for a long time. And I've had the same emotions the last day, saying goodbye to people that, I like I did with family in the past when I had to say goodbye and I didn't want to. I don't want to say goodbye, and I'm not going to, because you've got us. You've got us on the bus, and we're in for the long haul.
Thank you so much. And your tears are just the highlight of my day, to see those beautiful tears, Roger. And it's helpful because I tell you, the hardest part for me at the retreat was when I had to ask everybody to leave. We were supposed to be out of the house at 10. I knew we could get away with 11. And it's now 11:30 and nobody wants to leave. And I was like the one having to say, come on, everybody out of the pool.
Yeah, it was.
It was hard.
We stayed that extra day, and we actually made it up onto the whatever it was up on on the build that little plateau with watching everybody dancing, and
I have to agree with Atira about the healing helping me up the hill, because I don't think without Jerry and Adam's healing and the patches that Ken and
Bart
and Beamy have shared, Bart have shared with us. I think the combination of those healings helped me up the hill where I probably wouldn't have made it otherwise. I really didn't want to.
The quarter-mile climb.
I really didn't want to leave all of you.
No.
Yeah.
So just so you kind of know, I'll give you a visual. This is the following day after the end of the official retreat. There was a big dance, kind of a new moon equinox event. And a lot of our Global Peace Tribers met and went up for it. And there it is. There some of them are. You've seen some of them tonight. We're going to go to Connie Baxter Marlowe in a moment. Connie and Andrew, of course, were there. Deborah Giusti, and several others. Mary Beth, Luana, Gio. I'm actually staying in Gio's house right now. Sam. So it's really quite wonderful. So that's one of the many pictures of our group together. So Roger, Bonnie, thank you for your tears. Thank you for being there. It's we have a forever friendship. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your tears. That just
we support just whatever you want. Yeah. We're on the bus, train, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, thank you, Roger. Thank you. Well, Connie has been outside. She didn't stay at the house, but she was certainly a big part of the retreat. Hi, Connie. Welcome.
Hi, Scott and everyone. It's wonderful to be together again here.
Now, just like I associate Cindy, the dog, being with Roger and Bonnie, where's your partner? Where's Andrew?
Well, he's right here. He's napping, taking it easy right
Okay.
here. We're in the van, so it's not that easy to get two people on the phone.
With that Sedona background, you fooled me for a minute. I thought, wow, she's in daylight Sedona, even though I'm in nighttime Sedona.
But it was such a treat being a presenter there. All the presenters so wove such a tapestry for this ascension, for this time on the planet. So I just want to laud you, Scott, for putting that tapestry together of ideas for people's growth. And it was an honor for us to be included. Mm-hmm. And what a treat it was to be part of the house. What a brilliant idea to have not only people staying at the house together, but having the event there at that house, so that everyone got to feel like they were home.
Yeah.
So it was brilliantly orchestrated, Scott. And just everything you do is just of such a high quality. And it was just wonderful to meet you in person and to sense your humanity.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's just really beautiful to be with you all. So thanks so much. It was just fun sharing our dance of souls in the trust frequency to add to people's progress on this ascension path.
So that's the amazing book. I just went to get it because I've been looking at it. This is the book that Connie and Andrew wrote, and we've talked about it, but it's great to get a copy. I'm staying with Gio. He's already halfway through it. And today he kept going on and on and on, telling me what an amazing book this is. I have not had a chance to do more than scan through it. But congratulations on sharing all about the Dance of Souls and the trust frequency, and being we had about 20 presenters over the time. And thank you for being one of the presenters that people really, everybody, I think we enjoyed everybody. But I know that we really enjoyed what you and Andrew had to offer. So thank you so much. One of the other things that took place throughout the weekend was healing. There was the emotional healing of actually being in community again. and meeting our soul family or meeting new members of our soul family. But there's also a lot of physical healing that happened. Bart and a fellow Adam that Tangela brought in did healings, and a lot of people had remarkable experiences. And I do want to say there's like these little patches. I've got one on the back of my neck right now. I've been using them, called the X39 by LifeWave. And they're amazing. And we did a show about this maybe a month ago, and I'm going to do another one soon because so many people are having really good experiences. So whether it was physical hands-on healing from people like Adam and Bart, or the X39s, or just everybody nurturing each other, making food together, it was a really beautiful part of the retreat was the healing. Okay. I want to introduce Sophia. We are going to, a little bit later on, because it's going to take some time, we're going to talk with Jerry. So here's a little preview of what's going to come after Sophia. Jerry Anderson, the wild abbot of the Mystic Monastery, led everybody, or the people who wanted to go, on a journey to a secret cave. We're going to hear about that from Jerry and some of the people who went, like Omashar. We're going to see some video of the cave. So stay tuned. That's what's coming up. But I was just talking about healing, and there was a lot of healing, obviously, that took place at the retreat. But our new presenter that is with us tonight is Sophia Amargi, and she is all about healing. And healing the most important thing, which is our trauma. All of us have some trauma. It might be epigenetic. It might be the things that have happened in our life. And learning how to work with trauma and to really manage it is incredibly important. I've coached thousands of people, and really I've learned okay, it's how to work with the trauma is the hardest stuff and the most important. A little bit about Sophia. She's a licensed psychotherapist who specializes in healing complex and unresolved childhood trauma and its impact on adult functioning. She's built a practice of almost 30 years on a depth of psychotherapy interwoven with shamanic practice, healing, and indigenous tribal medicine work. She's actually gone into indigenous areas and worked with shamans of many different tribes. So she's got this really interesting understanding of Western psychotherapy and kind of tribal cultural understanding. So welcome, Sophia. Please unmute yourself because we definitely want to be able to hear you. And welcome to the Awakening World. Oh, you're still muted, dear.
Thank you, Scott. How's that? Is that better?
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I feel very humbled and grateful to be here. I'm excited about everybody that is part of the community. And I could launch into talking immediately about what I do or how I landed doing what I'm doing. But before that, or if I even go there today, I actually wanted to comment on some of the stuff that I've been listening to. Would that be an okay thing to do?
Yeah, absolutely. Spontaneous, and I love that.
Okay, good. So this whole idea of family, and everybody's talking about the soul family, and we're the soul tribe, and it was so great to meet the family, and everybody felt like family. And it's both so heartening for me, and at the same time, it's quite tragic, because as a therapist who specializes in trauma, so much, if not all of our relational trauma takes place within the matrix of our family. Mm-hmm. Eric Erickson, one of my great heroes, talks about how the first and earliest wounds that happen between 0 and 5 years old, and that we all share these 3 wounds, which are the wound of betrayal, abandonment, and broken trust. And so all of you have been talking about trust. All of you have been talking about family and the matrix of what it means to be safe and solid, sacred, secure, not just inside yourself, but within your family. And so in the work that I do, there needs to be so much relational repair because people are so frightened, they are so hurt. And I drew a little picture as you guys were talking. I'm so sorry I missed it because the retreat sounds amazing. Can you see this? And my apologies for, not preparing this in a more.
Yes, pull it back just a teeny bit. Pull it back just a little bit. Yeah, stop. Now we see it perfectly.
Okay, so we all in our radiant heart want to connect with everybody else from our radiant heart to their radiant heart. But problematically, we get hurt, right? So if this is the truth of us, our eternal truth, and this is our eternal and radiant heart, we get hurt. So we build a line of defense, and we get hurt again, and we build a line of defense. And we go into story, and story becomes limiting belief. And we have hundreds and thousands of stories that are attached to traumatic events. And so by the time we end up meeting another person, we're meeting at the edge of our defenses, and we meet them at the edge of theirs. And so part of what I'm working with is unwinding people trauma by trauma, story by story, belief by belief, so that what we end up with is this deeper truth, this I. And Omashart sang such a gorgeous song, and the refrain of it, being I am what I am. But when people are highly traumatized from childhood, we don't even know who we are. And half of the time, we don't even know that we've had so many traumatic events that they've sort of interwoven and bled into our understanding of our own identity. And so we're living this false, this constructed self, trauma-driven, trauma-defined, trauma-identified. And part of what I'm doing with people is to help them unwind from all of it. And it's kind of a big production to really go all the way in to these core wounds and these negative narratives and negative beliefs about oneself that are attached to all of these original wounds. And so really noticing how everybody's been speaking about safety and trust, where if the three original wounds are betrayal, abandonment, and broken trust, I'm hearing so much repair. I'm hearing so much radiant and sovereign heart selves. And it's so beautiful to me. The people that I work with are trying to manipulate and control and oftentimes fight with or against the flow of life. And in my understanding, we are supposed to surrender into the flow of life. I mean, that's the portal to all abundant things. And so this idea of being in flow for the weekend, people that never met each other before, everybody, living inside of the house and being in flow and in harmony and in balance. I'm so touched by all of this. It's so meaningful to me because it speaks directly to the service that I'm offering and how I live my life. And so the healing of connection, the healing of movement, music, hands-on, psychologically being with other like-minded people and feeling seen and seeing, I'm just loving it. And it's hitting all of these notes, that I come across in the converse on a daily basis, where things are not in flow, where surrender is not safe, where pushing against instead of flowing with has been pretty much the name of the game for 50 years sometimes for people, this not understanding the deeper truth that you're valuable, lovable, and worthy, and that is simply so. That's always the place that I'm wanting to get to with each and every person I am helping.
I was muted. So first of all, thank you, because you're absolutely right. Probably the single most important element that I observe in life to actually be happy in life, to be able to enjoy life, is to have resolved our trauma, to have resolved that's it. That's like, who's unhappy? People who have not worked out the trauma. Who are the happy people? The people who have learned how to manage the trauma. And I always like to say to people, it's about honoring and managing it more than the idea of healing it. healing takes place, but some wounds leave scars. Some wounds don't, but some wounds leave scars. And some of the trauma that we've gone through, we have to work with for the rest of our life. But by working with someone like yourself, we learn the tools. And sometimes there's remarkable healing where it diminishes significantly. And sometimes we have to learn just how to work with it, how to manage it. At least that's how I've observed it after working with thousands of people. And would you say that's true for you? Does that resonate?
I'd say yes and no, kind of depending on what kind of trauma we're working with and who the person is, to what degree do they have capacity, to what degree do they feel healed enough to complete the therapeutic aspect and sort of get on with life. So not everybody really is wanting to stay all the way to the end point. In my perfect world, what I would love to do with each and every person is to complete that karmic circle of suffering, to close it for them so they can rest in natural grace. But that is not for everybody. People can get enough and then feel consolidated, not fragmented. They can understand who they are, not what their trauma narratives have told them that they are. And so yes and no, like, yes, that's true for a lot of people. They don't feel the need or the interest or have the time, let's say, to stay for the total completion, but they get enough. And then they have the tools, the skill set, the cognitive understanding, the somatic understanding and regulation of the nervous system to actually manage trauma. So yeah, it sort of depends. And with trauma comes emotionally and somatically. It can come physically in many ways also. But let's talk about the emotion and the somatic. And so there's so often this kind of idea of like cognitive dissonance where a person might know one thing but feel another, right? So if it is my intention to help everybody understand their value and live from that place, as opposed to living from their value wound, then this makes a lot of intellectual or cognitive sense to somebody. And they can work very well emotionally with that. But if they feel unvaluable, if they feel unworthy, then we have to bring the head and the heart and the belly into congruent alignment. So what they think, what they know, what they feel, and what they believe are all the same thing. And so that could take a moment. And I began my own healing journey many years ago, maybe like 40 years ago or something. And to that end, I started working with a lot of different kind of molecular structures, medicine people, medicine being uni, ayahuasca, San Pedro, many different kinds of things. I've worked very extensively with something called 5-MeO-DMT, the only molecular structure on the planet that will completely dissolve the ego in order for consciousness to merge into the eternal divine. And so I started this whole process for myself, seeking my own trauma resolution as I was entering into this field of work. And I started to have very miraculous understandings, downloads, lots and lots of those external layers of defense and story started to dissolve. And eventually, over some years, for the last 25 years, I've had a very deep and abiding practice working with my tribe, the Yawanawa in Acre, Brazil, in a small village called Mutum. I spent almost 3 months with them last winter doing my study. With this tribe, they use uni, ayahuasca, as the spiritual conduit to the consciousness of the creator. And somehow when I found these people in this way of working, for me, it was a massive click, like, this is my place, these are my people. And I personally grew up, I was never proud of my family. So hearing everybody talk about family was so beautiful to me. And everybody's so proud of the Soul Tribe family. And for the first time in my life, I was able to be proud of my family, the Yawanawa, and this spiritual work, this deep abiding practice of mine that I've developed over 25 years. And I have personally had so much healing that I started to believe many people that I do this psychotherapeutic work with would perhaps benefit as well. And so after a lengthy period of time, for those people that it feels right to mention it to, I will suggest that there are alternative methods to go deeper into the work, to discover more about your true soul, purpose, dharma, healing, to understand that no matter what happened to you, you are not your traumas. These are a series of events. You, the I am what I am, the I am, that eternal soul, that can't be damaged, not ever, can't be wounded, can't be hurt, can't be damaged. And so I've had just some really miraculous experiences with some of my patients over the years. It's been absolutely tremendous. And I don't want to take up an excessive amount of time, but I do want to share one thing, which is I had a patient that I worked with for 4.5 years who was multiple personality from extremely severe childhood trauma, which makes the psyche split when there's no other place for it to go, under the real duress and severity of relentless trauma. She was a multiple, and 2 years into the work with her, I thought she could benefit from working with 5-MeO-DMT. And I took her to my teacher. We did a lot of preparation, as I always do. And I don't offer any of this. I know many people that do. So it's a lengthy process of exploration, preparation, and then we would go together to the teacher, the shaman, the ceremony, what have you. And this woman, in 4.5 years together, collaboratively, working with that particular medicine, we together healed all of it. And so for her, she is completely healed and whole and consolidated. And this woman is a spectacular artist. And so for like 50 years, she was drawing her internal experience of being a multiple as a result of the trauma. So both were shown in her artwork. And so this is like an incredible record of her process. And I believe very strongly that her collaboration, my collaboration, and this particular medicine helped to consolidate and heal what previously had been something absolutely unhealable. It's a piece of work that I'm tremendously proud of. It was very important, and I wanted to share it with you. So thank you.
Absolutely. And we're still okay on time. I'd like for you to share a little bit about the combination of Western psychotherapy and indigenous, like how do they balance each other? How do they contrast? Tell us about the juxtaposition of those two approaches.
Oh, thank you so much for asking that. Now, I was fortunate over the summer, there was a 4-day event in Big Bear where there were, I don't know, many, and maybe like 35 indigenous healers from all over the world, medicine people from Hawaii, from the Brazilian rainforest, from Peru, from Mexico, from Colombia. These are all the elders who held the wisdom of their tribes. And they came, and there's just a lot of lecture and discussion and process groups, etc. It's really very beautiful. And one of the things that's so often talked about among these wisdom elders, holders of the wisdom, is that in the West, in our wounds, we typically want to dominate the natural world. But indigenous people want to join with the natural world. The Yawanawas see themselves as the guardians of the rainforest, recognizing that this doesn't belong to anybody, but needs to be valued and protected, and this is sacred to them. And so this idea of what you eat has everything to do with your mental health and how you are in relationship to the natural world. How much time you spend in nature has everything to do with your mental health. And this sort of like idea that connecting to the natural world is where the healing lives. Those that are disconnected, that are always in the cities, that have no opportunity to go in nature, usually present with a lot of emotional illnesses. And there was one man there, his name is Benki, and he is part of a tribe called the Huni Queen. And he lives in the Brazilian rainforest along the same strip of the Rio Gregorio that I spent this past winter in indigenous tribal lands. And he has a lot to say about the best way to treat an ailment. So for a curandera, a medicine man from the forest, they're treating the entire body. Like, I don't know that much about Ayurvedic medicine, but I know the words like, what are your doshas, and, what are you, vata, or are you this, or are you that? Meaning it's a whole system assessment, what's actually going on in the system. And Scott, this is very much like this indigenous perspective. And their medicine, and they talk about this, it takes a long time, where somebody can just go to the city and buy something at the pharmacy, which these people find it disconnects them from their lineage, their ancestors, their heritage. But this younger generation, so I'm told, are very impatient and they want an immediate result. And so the tendency, I think, for this younger grouping of people, at least among those tribes that I'm familiar with, is not so much to take the time to work through whatever the ailment is in the medicine way, which is the whole system. And really, like, these are people that will walk into the forest. My teacher, who's Shahu, she will go into the forest for 1 month, drink the saliva of the anaconda, which is their very precious animal.
Wow.
And wait, this is the strongest dieta. I did my first dieta this past winter, which is a 31-day dieta, but you have to go there way before and stay a bit after. But that's like the easiest one, but no water for 31 days, hardly any food. It's quite rigorous, lots of medicine, lots of ceremony, lots of processo, because now I'm trying to learn Brazilian Portuguese. And so these people, these elevated wisdom elders, will do things. So this is the most intense diet that this tribe, the Yawanawa, and my teacher, who's Shaho, will be shown what is needed for the tribe. What is the tribe lacking? What does the tribe need? How is the health of the spirit of the tribe itself? What is the spiritual health of the tribe and each one of the individuals that are part of it? And so there's this like interweave between whatever combination of herbs can be offered, and this kind of, I want to say almost an intrapsychic understanding of how important the natural world and the medicines from it are for the health and the longevity of the tribe itself. I've heard a lot of stories over the years, like the wife of a medicine man, part of the Huni Queen tribe. She became blind after she gave birth to her first son. And she went to the woman, the curandera of this tribe, and she was given a whole prescription of a bath every day with these certain herbs, and a tincture and a tonic every day with these other herbal combinations. And she gained her sight back, but it wasn't quick. And she didn't go to the hospital. She just stayed in the tribe. And here, we all know that first order of business is, oh, let's write a prescription. Let's give you some kind of pharmaceutical. And so that feels like a heartbreak to the elders that I am familiar with. It feels heartbreaking because it keeps taking people away from their connection to the natural world. And for so many in the West, that connection is tenuous enough. Start taking, chemical compounds, and it tends to further the disconnect from what is possible in the natural world. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a big question, but it's a beautiful.
It's a little bit of it's an appetizer.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful insight. I want to read a couple of comments, and then we'll wrap up with you for now. Dorina writes, "Thank you, Sophia, for all that you share, especially the amazing fusion of modern psychotherapy and indigenous plant medicine, not only in trauma healing, but also in whole person integration and even community transformation as a result. I am very grateful for your work, journey, and impact. Blessings, gratitude, and love. And that's from Dorina, who's coming to us all the way from Ecuador. She's in Ecuador. George Noble is asking, what's the name of the medicine again? 5M.
Well, I go to, I take people to different medicines for different reasons as I sort of understand them through the work that we're doing. But 5MEO, and then the letters DMT. And when I talk about this with people, people can get very confused because DMT is a whole big raver drug, but it's really in a lot of people's consciousness. This is a very different molecular structure, and it's the only molecular structure on the planet that will provide a complete egoic dissolve. It can be very frightening because your ego knows that it's about to have its own demise. It will cease to exist entirely. And if there's no ego for so many people, then there's no you. So people have become quite ego identified. One of my friends and colleagues who serves up this medicine, a man in Hawaii, and he serves up ayahuasca, he talks about when he comes around on tour and he's either in LA or New York, what he hears is everybody's saying like, I didn't get enough medicine. I don't feel anything. And what my friend says is there's so much ego density in these two parts of the country. And people are so egoically defined that is very, very challenging to begin to surrender that and trust the medicine more than you would trust your ego. So this is a molecular structure. It's called 5-MeO-DMT, and it is the synthetic of toad medicine, the Bufo olivaris toad. So I prefer the 5. It's a more celestial, cleaner experience, at least for myself. But a lot of people are working with toad medicine now. It's the Sonoran desert toad, the Bufo olivaris, as I've said. So a lot of people are working with that, the organic, but I prefer the synthetic because it's the way my teacher makes it. It's like 99% pure. So it's a more, I don't know, I think it's cleaner, but I like both. So either, but you need to really be with somebody who knows what they're doing. And there's a lot of preparation. I mean, I take this stuff very seriously. It's not for everybody. And so one has to be judicious and careful and ethical and really prepare. We don't want anybody just randomly jumping in. And it's also not a shortcut. It doesn't replace the work. The work is the work. This is an adjunctive piece to go deeper in the work.
It gives you an insight. It gives you a look at what's possible. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And yes, don't try this at home, kids, without a coach, without the right person, without the right preparation, because it's serious. Sophia, you've been awesome, as I knew you would be. I've put into the chat box how people can get a hold of you, but I also want to go to your website. And it's a beautiful website, by the way.
But it needs to be updated, I think. But thank you.
At least half the people on this show usually say that. I think all of us are like, our websites are never complete. We're always wanting to add more, but it's her last name, AmargiTherapy.com, AMARGI therapy.com. Psychotherapist specializing in healing unresolved childhood trauma and its impact on adult functioning. And I really want to encourage people to work with Sophia. And you can schedule a consultation. Are your consultations free?
Yeah, free 30 minutes. And I don't take any insurance.
Wow. Well, that's very cool that you do a free 30-minute consultation. So I really want to encourage, be courageous. I know some of the people watching right now are going, God, I need that help, but I don't know. Whatever your little mind is telling you, know that's that ego that she was talking about that is afraid it's going to suffer somehow. And it won't, actually. It just needs to be given new marching orders. I don't believe in ego death. I think we need to have an ego, just like we need to have a heart and lungs and other organs. But we need to make sure that our ego is in alignment with our higher self, with our true self. That, I like to think of the ego as a faithful dog. And a good, faithful dog does what the master wants it to do. And together they have a great time versus a crazy dog that just leads a less.
I agree with you. And so the way that I say this is that my ego is my ally, but I am not my ego. Meaning I know that I am, you are, we all are a fractal of source eternal itself. That is the deepest truth of all things. That is simply what I believe. So I know this for me, and everybody else can believe and know what they believe and know. But for me, through the work that I've done personally, I have come to understand that I am, as we all are, I believe, a fractal of source eternal itself. And if that is so, I would just be like a radiant puddle on the floor without my ego. I couldn't find a parking space. I couldn't pay a bill. I couldn't get anything done. So for me, I see my ego as my ally, but it is not my identity. And this exercise of the 5, which is not so much an ego death, it's the dissolve into what we're all imagining and believing is actually there. We feel it, we experience it, we believe it. And so to have that is an amazing experience. It's transcendent.
So contact Sophia to have the experience. Thank you, Sophia, for being with us. Thank you for your enthusiasm over our Global Peace Tribe. And I'd love to have you on the show again.
Thank you. Thank you all.
We're going to go to Jerry in about 60 seconds. But since we just kind of talked about plant medicine and indigenous wisdom, I just want to do a little quick promo for this Sunday's show, the show that we're going to do on Sunday, because it's almost like a follow-up to what Sophia was talking about. We're going to have Guinevere Bridge coming back on, appearing as Goddess Hecate. And she's all about death, but also rebirth and life and nature. And then Oscar Miro Quesada, who has just written a book about shamanism and how all of us can take shamanic practices and apply them in our lives. So it's kind of like a perfect second step. And Sophia, if you can join us on Sunday, join us. I'll bring you on camera because I think you'd really enjoy interacting with them. Yeah? Are you available?
Yeah, I was excited to find out about that. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so I'll make sure you have the link and definitely come join us. It'll be a really interesting conversation. All right. You have seen him dancing. You have sometimes heard him speak about the Mystic Monastery. Here he is, the wild abbot, Jerry. And I'm also going to bring on some of the other people who went on the hike. So Omashar, where are you?
Right here.
I'll go to gallery view. If you went on the hike and you want to join us, wave your hands wildly right now so I can see you in gallery view. So who else went on the hike and wants to? Atira, okie doke.
11 of us made it to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, the other,
very cool.
The other 15 didn't.
And one last time I'm on gallery view. Anybody else who went on the hike? Anybody else? Christine and Damien? No. Yes. Okay. There we go. Jerry, I've got your 3 videos downloaded. I'll put this spotlight on Jerry for right now.
Come over here, baby.
But remember to be muted if you're not speaking, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Not a problem. It's good to have you with us. So I'm going to remove the spotlights for right now. I'll go back to speaker view. And Jerry, tell us a little bit about this incredible magical cave that you led us to. Or
Well,
led some
I
of
would
us to.
like to say a couple of things. I had met Scott in person last August, but we wasn't on the show. Oh my gosh, he does so much work. And those people who got the live stream, oh my gosh, Scott worked his tail off to make that happen. It was amazing to see how many things he can coordinate at one time.
Well, thank you, Jerry.
We've been talking about the ego, and I heard a cool thing last week. The guy said we can have our ego edging God out, or we could have an Iggy, I-G-I. He says that's when you invite grace in. I thought that was a really nice.
I love that one.
Flip. Yes. And
Invite grace in. That's beautiful.
yes, and I wanted to say a little bit about what you were saying about combining the indigenous wisdom with what we call ecclesiastic or monastic wisdom, is that our monastery is the first monastery in the world, in all of history, that has combined monastic and indigenous medicine together. And the way that we do that is because we use the Star of David, one pointing up and one pointing down. The one pointing down is the indigenous people. You know, they start all ceremonies with getting permission from the earth and these kinds of things, where the monastic people are always going up, the indigenous people are going down. So that's the Star of David in both directions as our symbol. And I would like to say a few things also that Sophia brought up, is that I believe that in this time when time is very, very short, that I call them STPs, sacred teacher plants, are the most important facilitator of moving forward. I have saw some people in one night do like 10 months of therapy in one night, okay? I've saw situations where the monk hadn't a drop of teachings, hadn't studied any books, roomies, anybody, and in one afternoon on the medicine, connect all the dots in nature. So our monastery has the belief, just like she did, that the main deficiency of humans right now is nature. Not calcium or protein or all these kind of things. It's nature that has really affected us so dramatically. And yes, we are also very connected to the Yamana tribe, because we use the hape that they make here in Pennsylvania and all over Peru and Puerto Rico and so forth. So we relate very close with the Yamana tribe. In fact, a young man who I got to know before he was even born is now the princess of the Yamana's husband. So we're kind of connected to that area. Yes, it was an exciting time to take the group up to the cave, knowing that it was going to be extremely strenuous and you would feel major a reward of accomplishing such an incredible task. I was crazy that we had so many even elders that did a really, really good job of climbing the mountain.
Well, I've got your 3 videos here. So tell us about, I'm pretty sure that this is the first one. I think I've got them in the right order.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about the cave that we're about to go in with you.
Okay. This cave, we call it Grandmother Cave because in the 70s or 80s, a grandmother spent 2 whole winters in this cave. And it had become just a legend. Even still now in Sedona, it's considered to be a legend. Nobody thinks it actually exists. But I took some local Sedona people there, so now they know it exists.
Beautiful. All right, well, let's take a look at this first video here.
So this is the mouth area of the cave.
And about how far is it from Sedona?
It's in the canyon. You can let it play, yeah. It's in the canyon of Oak Creek, going towards Flagstaff from Sedona, just before you go up the switchbacks into the Flagstaff area.
I'm afraid I'm going to bump my head. Wow.
This is just with my headlamp and the camera going into the cave. It's kind of hard to guess because of the distance inside the earth is kind of like different, but I would guess it's about a block until we get to the actual cave room that you'll see here in a little bit.
Wow.
And it's kind of like the width of a street, you might say, in these sections right here. You might have saw a box in the first part there. That's a box where everybody who has made it up the mountain can put their name and the date that they arrived.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a registry.
Wow, look at this. This is something special.
Yeah, those really, by this point here, you cannot see any light from the surface.
Wow.
And our dear brother Omashar, we had a ceremony inside the temple room in the back here. And we didn't allow any lights, not even the light off of our phones, so that we had pure darkness. And Omashar recorded what was said and the ohms we did and so forth in the cave.
I have that video as well, which we might play.
So you can see we go pretty deep.
My gosh, it's getting harder and harder to get through there. Wow.
Yes. In the spring, when the snow is melting, water flows out of the mouth of this cave.
All right, so that's the end of the first video. I've brought Omashar on too. Omashar, anything you want to add so far to this journey?
When we were in the master cave, let's say one of the master caves, because I believe there's several behind the master cave that we went into, to be able to open your eyes and it's completely black, and to have no EMFs, no interference from any outside electrical source. My body just completely relaxed and just went to the baseline ground zero. I could have spent a day or two in there because, you know, we got so used to 5G and 4G and every other G's around. And, you know, it puts your emotional body, your feeling body kind of on heightened alert. And so to go in there and experience that and experience the total blackness was an absolute blessing, Jerry. Thank you.
Beautiful. And I'm going to bring Atira on if I can find her. There she is. Atira, anything you want to add?
Well, that I've gone caving before, so I've been a spelunker, but this was so peaceful because energy of Sedona going into basically a deprivation tank and then tuning into my utter peace and coherence was awesome.
Beautiful. Okay, we'll hear from a couple of the others in a moment, but here's just a less than a minute. So here's the next video.
So now this is actually going to go into the cave room in the back. About 10 years ago, no, maybe 20 years ago, we leveled off a section in this back room here with shovels so that we had a flat space to sit.
Wow.
No, this is the video coming. Well, no, yep, nope. This is going into the cave room. There's a little tight spot right here that you have to kind of sit on this one rock and kind of spin yourself into the main. Sit on that.
Wow.
Rock. Yeah.
You did a great job of filming this, Jerry.
Oh, thank you. So this is the back room now. You can see this is the back wall up through here. This whole section here goes back further in that section, but this is the room that we did the ceremony in.
Okay, and we'll see that in a moment. I'm going to bring on Christine and Damien. You were there, right? Anything you want to share?
Okay, Kata, do you want to share something, hon?
It was absolutely magical. Like that was to go and experience such a feat. As soon as I heard Jerry was going to go to a cave, I mean, I looked at Christine and said, "We're going to the cave." And Jerry came back and had told the group, "Listen, this is a very advanced hike. Like you're going to have to literally hang off the side of a mountain, possibly grab trees to pull yourself up." And that was all absolutely true.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, it was just, I can't even put it into words. It was just, and to get in there and to be in that silence with no interference from anything, just absolute darkness was just magical.
Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, I've talked about it all week to everyone that will listen. It's been amazing. It was so great.
My legs are still telling me about it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, beautiful. All right, I'm going to go to our last video here.
Now this one is coming back out of the cave, so you can get a little idea of it. Nope, this is still the back room. Yeah. Up in that section is where we leveled it off so we could sit. Okay, now we're going to go back out of this cave. And George asked how deep it was. It's hard to guess once you go in the earth, but it's like a block long. You'll see here how many twists and turns it takes before we get outside. Yes, and maybe I'll say another few things about the retreat. I really loved Wazoo. She was so alive.
Wowza. Wowza.
Wazoo, yeah. Yes.
Wowza. Wowza.
Yeah, yeah. Amazing being. Yes.
Mm.
And Connie and Andrew and Omashar was amazing.
Well, I'm going to actually pause it then. And what I will do is I'll quickly go to the photograph. These are our intrepid global peace tribers that went on the walk to the cave. So I want to acknowledge and honor each and every one of you. And Atira, especially, that is impressive given, that you were the eldest. So I just really want to acknowledge the beauty of that. That's really very powerful, very powerful. Well, I'm going to kind of complete us. I was going to show the Marianne Williamson video, but I think I'll wait till tomorrow for that. But I thought it would be fun, Jerry, and I'm going to keep, actually, people can unmute. And if you're in about the photo that I'm showing, you may speak to it, okay? Because what I've got here is Sam Sparrow put together a whole grouping of photos. So I'm going to kind of go through it fairly quickly, and we'll kind of complete. So anybody is welcome to speak. Just try not to speak over each other, okay? So I'm removing all the spotlights. I'm going to go to gallery view, but then what I'm really going to do is I'm going to go to this photo album. So here we go. And this is little Mandy Reese, one of my dear friends who I invited. It was her birthday weekend. And of course, there she is with Paul Sterling. And she is the street angel. She goes in and does magical, spreads kindness. And this is the view from our backyard of where our retreat house, we called it the GPT Hacienda. There's Omashar in his glory. And this is Grandmother Blue Star, 93 years old, who joined us. There's Connie and Andrew when they're giving their video, their presentation. And I tell you, one of the highlights for me was Larissa Stowe, who's one of my favorite human beings and a regular on Global Peace Tribe. She and her husband just bought 12 acres of property. Of course, a lot of you saw us on the Awakening World last Saturday night. That whole show was dedicated to her. But these are photos of her land blessing. And it was wonderful to have a lot of Global Peace Tribers come to the land blessing. And then in the evening, there was a big dance that a lot of people went to, kind of an ecstatic dance. This is Jerry doing his healing work. Hey, Jerry, tell us a little bit about your electromagnetic field therapy that you did that really helped so many of our people.
Well, it's a Tesla device that actually converts electricity to biological energy. And if you're familiar with Tesla, it has a lightning type device inside of it. So it micro makes lightning and puts off extremely powerful magnetic field, enough to jerk your arm or whatever. And the crazy thing is it seems to always find where the pain, swelling, stiffness is coming from.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing it with so many people. There's Sam and Carrie and Mandy out on the plains. A lot of people, of course, there's a lot of time spent in nature. There's Mandy, our street angel, receiving the light. Beautiful photos, huh? Good job, Sam Sparrow. There's Sam who took the photos. And there we are. There's the hike to the cave. And of course, you just saw the videos, but there's kind of some of the pictures of people going to the cave. Inside the cave, Mandy and Sam and Omashar's musical experience that he provided for people. Now, this is a short video. Let me see if it'll play.
last thing I'll say.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so, yeah, and just the beautiful nature. We were beginning to really catch the changing of the colors, which is always one of my favorite things, being in a place where there are colors changing. And a lot of photos of that trip to the cave. That was definitely quite the thing. There's Jerry getting everybody ready. And there's Mark Janisovsky, who, as I said before, played accordion. And this is for Mandy's birthday party, which was also our closing night ceremony. And his accordion playing was so wonderful. And here's everybody getting ready to take kind of our final group photo with Mandy. And here it is. Here's our group photo. With Scott somehow doing something with my cell phone, crazy. That was quite a wonderful final night that we all had. And then out on the mesa the next night, after the official end of the retreat, but a lot of people still gathered and stayed over. And there's our wonderful concierge, Luana, with somebody. I think that's Katrina, maybe. Yeah, it's Katrina playing with her. And then the last thing to show is apparently on the drive home, there was this, we figured out that it was probably a rocket that shot across the sky, and Sam actually caught some of it on his camera. So not a UFO, but probably a rocket from Edwards Air Force Base. So there's kind of the completion for tonight, other than we always like to complete with Omashar music. Thanks again, Jerry, for all your contributions to the retreat and just to our Global Peace Tribe. And we will have a retreat in Puerto Rico on his property when he tells us he's ready. That'll happen. Omashar, what do you have to say and what do you have to sing?
Well, all I have to say is now for something completely different, and actually it's not so different. It's a song. In the last month, I've written 5 new songs, and 3 of them have been debuted so far on the Awakening World. This one we played a few weeks ago, and when I don't even have to tune into what songs need to be played, the songs just drop in and I go, okay. And so this one is called Welcome Home. What a concept. And thank you, Scott, from the depth of my being, for doing what you're doing what you do, and for bringing us all together. I don't know if you will ever know how deeply, how much it means to us all. It's amazing. It's phenomenal and heart opening. And yes, yeah.
And 2 requests. I'd like to ask people to get up, move to music. And if you're moving and grooving to the music, I will add you to the camera. And then don't leave, because I forgot to make a couple of important announcements, but I'll do the announcements after.
Is one about tomorrow morning?
One of them is about tomorrow morning. Because we want all of you to join us tomorrow morning. But yes. Go ahead and take it away, Omashar.
Join us. Let me shine a light inside, and I'll show you where your truth resides. Lift your eyes up to the skies, and I'll prove to you that nothing dies. Together we will rise again and make amends for what we've done. Let me take your hands in mine As I look at you, your spirit shines. I know you hear me, so please do not fear me, 'cause I'm here to lift you, restore you to glory, and love you and hold you and be your victory. My child, I will welcome you home. Welcome you home. You see, it's true that we are one, and we came out from the central sun. So when you take a different view and you dream awake, breathe out the new. I know you hear me, so please do not fear me, 'cause I'm here to lift you, restore you to glory, and love you and hold you and be your victory. My child, I will welcome you home. Welcome you home. Welcome you home. The world will come alive again as we dance and sing and make new friends. Let me shine a light inside, and I'll show you where your truth resides. Welcome home.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Omar. So that's a perfect song for tonight. That's perfect. Thank you. So, we really are continuing to grow our tribe. And there's a wonderful way for you to continue to grow with us even closer. On Saturday mornings, I lead something called Relationship Satsang. And it really is an opportunity for us to come together. It's not broadcast over Facebook. I did that for the first 2 weeks, just to kind of let people know about it. But now it's a closed group, closed meaning that whoever shows up is who's there. And we create a real field of safety to talk honestly about what's going on in life, because we all have ups, we have downs, we have, challenges. And it's another way that we are building our global peace tribe. And honestly, what I probably do best in life is coach. I've been doing it for a long time and I'm good at it. And I've got a lot of tools and I love sharing my tools with people. So I want to really invite people to join us tomorrow or any Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning. We do have special guests. Kristen Hoffman is a frequent guest. Paul Sterling is going to be leading a class with us. I bring in other love coaches and we all share. Now, if you want to just watch, you can watch. If you've got a challenge you're dealing with, you can bring up the challenge and get support for it, or at least get empathy and compassion for it. I've put the information into the chat box, and I really want to invite all of our Global Peace Tribers. Come on in to our relationship satsang. It's a wonderful way for us to grow together in a really deep way, because when we share emotional intimacy, that's how we connect. It's a wonderful way that we build family. So join us tomorrow. That's at 10 o'clock. and then go straight to Tangela. Go straight after relationship satsang. You want to go straight to what we talked about before, the amazing Ascension weekend that she has put together with so many of our favorite teachers. So it's going to be an amazing weekend, Tangela.
It is. We're really excited about it. And, you know, we know everyone has busy weekends, but we invite all of you to register and just drop in when you can. We have all these amazing presenters, and some of the other presenters who aren't on here are Alan Steinfeld, Dr. Desiree and JJ Hertak. So, you know, we have a great group, everyone just giving their diverse perspectives about Ascension, and there's so much for us to learn and dive into, and you'll have the free replay available to you forever. So definitely, you know, check out Scott's satsang tomorrow morning, be able to dive into your relationships, and then join us whenever you can for the weekend with the Ascension of the Soul conference. Thanks.
And then complete your evening, of course, by going to the Awakening World, where we are having our annual celebration and preview of the Illuminate Film Festival. That's a powerful film festival that's both local here in Sedona and online. And I'm doing a lot of collaboration with them, Tangela, and I know you are now. I introduced you to them today. And it's a great festival. And so tomorrow you'll get to meet the people who put it all together. You'll meet a couple of the directors of the top films that are going to be there, and music with Omashar and my dear friend Destiny Love, and she is an angel. So join us tomorrow night. We've got a full day. Tangela's my relationship satsang, Tangela's Ascension Conference, and then Awakening World. So it's going to be a full Saturday, and we hope to see all of you there.
Yes, hope to see you all soon. Thank you so much, everyone. Always beautiful to be here with you guys.
And we're going to go to gallery view so everybody can wave goodbye. Turn on your cameras. All right. Take care, everybody. Good night and have a beautiful evening. We'll see you tomorrow.